It's usually the first place we go and the last place we visit at the end of the day. And I'm going to show you today how a simple decluttering can either make or break your day. That's what's coming up next at the atwhatcostblog.com. Hi, I'm Mary Beth from the atwhatcostblog.com, where we are reclaiming abundant living. We want to live a life that's full of abundance, but somewhere in the understanding of that, I feel like our family got a little confused and we ended up with an abundance in our schedule, our closets, are everywhere. And so our bathroom is no exception. There is just an abundance of things that has found their way into this room. And truth be told, I think it is because it is one of the most private rooms in our home. I would like to declutter my bathroom today, but I also have been intrigued by this question of how would the Proverbs 31 woman handle a pandemic? So let's look a little deeper at the Proverbs 31 woman while we declutter some of this excess in the bathroom. In a previous video, we looked at Proverbs 31 verse 27 when I decluttered and just really better organized our kitchen. And I got to thinking about our master bathroom. You know, it's really the first place and the last place that I go every day. And I started to understand that it really could make or break my day depending on the condition that our bathroom was in. So when we think about the Proverbs 31 woman in the context of managing her household well, I kind of feel like she wouldn't have all this stuff going on in the bathroom. Now, the Proverbs 31 woman has the ultimate home life balance. She is working, she's raising her children, and we see specifically here in verse 27 that she manages the ways of her household well, and the most quite possibly frightening portion of this verse is that she avoids eating the bread of idleness. Now, in my studying, I discovered that this word idleness, or in some translations, laziness. I know, not the most favorite word that we could use. I know most of us would not feel lazy. We may feel tired, but I don't think we definitely feel lazy. So that word broken down is actually sluggish. And when I went a little bit further, the word sluggish means to have a lack of progress or leave things undone. And I think when we're faced with all of these tasks, it can be very easy for us to be overwhelmed and check out. But I just want to re-emphasize to you that laziness is not the same thing as self-care. So you should be taking care of yourself. We should have quiet time. All of these things that we should do, right? That wonderful word that gets us every time. But really and truthfully, having a time to recharge the batteries, to reconnect with God, to have a moment of peace and quiet and stillness can be so restorative. And it's often very necessary for us to keep moving forward. So when your husband is a chemist, you actually do find beakers just randomly throughout your house. And I don't know, this is probably one of his from college. So I'm gonna put on his vanity because I don't necessarily need this. But like I said, self-care is not laziness. The same way that, wait for it, laziness is not self-care. Sometimes the best way that we can care for ourselves is to buck up and get the work done. I know in our bathroom, when I leave things lay around on the counters and it becomes difficult for me to have a spot to turn my curling iron on or find a hair tie, maybe I have smudges on the mirror, and so I don't want to spend a whole lot of time in there. I end up skipping the makeup, skipping the hair, and not really putting a whole lot of effort into my appearance, which some days I just kind of need. I need to put in a little effort to feel like a decent human being. I think we all feel great after we've come home from the salon. Maybe not if they've cut our bangs like way too short, but you know what I mean. We get a little pampering, and it sometimes can make us feel like a new woman. It can make us feel more put together. So when all of this clutter is laying around, my first thought walking into the bathroom is, I don't want to deal with all of this. And so I skip those things, and that tends, at least for me, to lead to more things that I will skip. And by the time I know it, the dishes are undone, the clothes and the laundry are laying everywhere again, and I'm exhausted and overwhelmed. I find it better to go ahead and just get the work done, see the ways of my household, and make sure that they are functioning correctly, that I have gotten rid of the junk that I don't need to spend time babysitting, and really get my house in a condition where it feels reset and I can then recharge. So that's what I'm doing here today. I'm taking out all of these items that I just don't use. All of the hair products that I bought hoping that they would turn my hair into some glorious, wonderful creation that just never worked. I have very fine and very thin hair, and it's a miracle just to get it to hold curl sometimes. I can be totally guilty of buying a product either that we used at the salon or I saw on TV or maybe even somebody on a YouTube video used and I thought would be the magic cure for my hair, and lo and behold, it didn't work. But I spent money on it, so I don't really want to get rid of it. And I kind of always have the hopes that maybe if things were a little different, it would work. The problem is I can't ever figure out what that little different is. So all of these extra things that I used in a past season of life or I bought and they didn't work out, I am going to pass on to someone else, or unfortunately, some of these things may just need to go in the trash. But ultimately, the goal is to keep a nice, clean, and tidy place for me to come in the morning, feel ready to shower, and get myself together so that I can start the day on a good foot. And the same goes for the evening time. I want to be able to have the things that I need to get ready for bed, take the makeup off, and wash the day away without looking at all of the undone things that have just found their way into our bathroom. And when I think of the bread of idleness, I kind of get that feeling of just looking at the things and saying, I need a break. I'm done. I need a break. Walking away and leaving all of those things undone for it to come back and ruin our day tomorrow too. I think we can all relate to the way that negative thoughts and the things that we encounter during the day can be like a terrible domino effect that just knocks one part of our day out and then goes the next and the next and the next. And suddenly we don't want to cook dinner, we don't want to fold the laundry, we don't want to do the dishes, and we're pretty well done dealing with everybody in our house. Seriously, like, been there. So for me, not eating the bread of idleness is doing today the things that can be done to set me up for a better tomorrow. I don't want to have to deal with all of the same things that are frustrating me today, tomorrow. That's not how I want to wake up, and I would imagine you don't either. So I would encourage you, go into your bathroom, grab a trash bag and a bag for donations, and start going through these cabinets and give it a good solid scrubbing and cleaning, because let me tell you, underneath all of that clutter is dust and all of the other things that you have taken off for the day. They seem to find their way there, and it can be kind of gross. But we don't see it because we get a little blind to it. It just hides underneath the clutter and we don't worry about it. So I would encourage you, get in there and just be ready to let go of some of this stuff that's holding you back. Do you really want hairspray to be the reason that you don't have a good day? I know I don't. I may want to use those things, and I may even think that someday I might, but the fact of the matter is, much of the stuff that's sitting in these cabinets has been there for the last 2.5 years. There are not very many things that are going to change for me to actually use these items. I know that the Proverbs 31 woman can seem a little unattainable, but trust me, friend, with a little work and a little effort, we really can have an abundant life with Christ. I would encourage you today, read through Proverbs 31, but don't hold yourself to a measure of perfection that no one could obtain. So I would encourage you, get in there, study Proverbs 31, and see what sticks out. I'd love to hear about it in the comments. I'd also love for you to check out our blog. I'll leave that in the description below as well. And if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our channel. I would love to hang out with you some more and talk through the way that we can reclaim abundant living in our homes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.